You look so comfy in your big comfy chair.
It's actually not that comfortable.
It looks comfortable.
I used to sit a lot higher than this, if you know what I mean.
Watch me pull a rabbit out of a hat. That's awesome.
So, is anyone else looking for anything? I'll keep my eyes out when I check for Brian's voice tomorrow.
Not unless Whirl's out already.
Rhinox. I'm waiting for Rhinox.
Things within
That'll
reason.
be a little bit. That'll be a little while.
Yeah.
I think I got all the stuff I need. I'm still trying to wait for the second wave of the IDW deluxes, or possibly third wave if that Nightbeat turns out to be the Bumblebee mold.
Well, I just hope it looks as good as that custom. Was it Frenzy and Rumble that did that custom?
No, I think that was Cheats.
Oh.
Yeah, if it's a good custom, cheats.
Yeah.
For what? What figure?
Nightbeat from Bumblebee.
Oh, okay.
I just like looking at his stuff on Facebook and just ruling. He does such a great job.
He's making the stuff look like toys.
Yeah. He does a great job.
Yeah.
He's one of the people in the fandom that I've never actually met. I've seen him walk by at BotCon, but I've never actually said, "Hey." I'm just not good about that. I interact with people all day long on the interwebs, but when it comes to in person,
well, what counts though is that when Aaron Archer walked by, we talked to him.
This is true.
And gave him cheerwine.
Yes, so that's why
we gave him cheerwine first, and then we talked.
That's why we talked to him for about an hour.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of cheerwine before I started Superhero Time.
What if you review
That's you live in the north.
Don't be honest with Superhero Time. That's probably my recommendation. Blade Raider.
Brian, when is new Soundwave going to post? I heard you guys recorded it.
I didn't record it.
Or they recorded
you have
it.
to ask John about that.
Was it awesome?
Yes.
Was it you, John, Peter, and Rob?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
When's it going to...
That's fine.
It's actually not coming out, Diecast. They did it just for them, and it's never going to be posted.
We're the ones on Facebook or on Twitter that keep bugging him to do it, and they do it now.
Do it.
I'm sure John will post it just as soon as he's able. It was a good show, though. We talked about the 2DS.
I love the 2DS. That's the best troll
Now
Nintendo's ever done.
The worst stop you never had.
Oh, man.
I don't think the 2DS itself is a bad idea. I don't look at it the same way Nintendo probably does, but I don't think it's a bad idea.
Now, for someone who doesn't follow the consoles, the 2DS is a 3DS, just no 3D.
Right.
And no folding ability.
That's the part that I think will hurt it.
Without which ability?
It doesn't fold in half.
I don't know.
I heard it's not as big as you would expect.
I'll put it the same way
from the size charts, but that could vary when someone actually gets it in hand.
There's a way I explain this to everybody when I talk about it. The thing with Nintendo handhelds ever since the SP that I think sets them apart is the ability to close and protect the screen, which is important in something that is meant to be put in a kid's hand and say, take this with you.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that they were saying, look at the back of this thing if we don't let it fold. Look at how many Pokemon we can get on the back of this thing and make a Pokemon edition and sell it, and everyone will buy it.
I think that's a good point, too.
They haven't really made printed handhelds since the SP, though, have they?
No, not really. There might have been a Pokeball version of the DS, maybe.
I think they just announced a couple, special edition DSs with stuff on them like that.
So, I kind of now want a PS4.
Why?
And the reason is the PS Vita extension thing.
That is not an answer.
No, it is. So, basically...
But you'd have to have a Vita.
No, you don't.
No,
It's a
then
set.
what's the point?
It's a set-top box.
It's like $100.
It's like $100.
Yep.
That will play. It'll play Vita games. It'll run Netflix and things like that. But more importantly, it's a PS4 extender, so I can have that box in my bedroom, the PS4 in the living room, and then I can play the PS4 in my bedroom.
So
Yeah,
basically, it's like a Game Boy adapter that plays Game Boy games on the N64.
No, actually, no. You know what it is? I know exactly what this is. Remember when the PlayStation got the Move, which was like a reverse Wii controller?
Yes.
This is the same thing as what the Wii U does, where you can take the tablet controller away and play some games by remote. Except this requires a set-top box and a TV to do it.
That's true.
It's the exact same thing as the Move. It's backwards Nintendo gear.
It's brilliant though. I really want one. One because the Vita itself is still a pretty powerful console, so it's like at least PS2 level power. So being able to play those games on my TV is great. I mean, I like playing like GBA games on my TV with my Game Boy player. And I don't want to buy a Vita, and there are games I probably would play.
Not all games work with it though. Not all
the ones
Vita
that have
games,
the games that have the buttons on the back,
or the touch controls.
Yeah.
Or well, that's what they
I'm just
said.
gonna go for the Wii U.
I don't know because, like Uncharted, you don't even need to use those touch controls. You can do it either way.
so it'll probably no need for that. But yeah, then being able to play the PS4 in another room with that's awesome.
Well, has
Yeah, I mean,
anyone
that's
played
a system seller right there.
I mean, Microsoft apparently was going to do this, but never released one.
Can you set up like multiples of that box to have the PS4 accessible from various rooms?
No idea, but I'm betting you probably can.
Because, I mean, that would be great. You set the PS4 somewhere as the base unit, maybe not even hooked up to a TV, and have the whole house wired for it.
But you probably couldn't use it at the same time.
Right.
No, but you don't have... You can't use it at the same time, but you kind of can't... You probably could with multiplayer, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could do,
I bet you could. I bet you couldn't because all the hardware rendering is done on the PS4, and it would have to do multiple renders.
It would be an interesting question, though, to see addressed.
Yeah.
But even if you can't play simultaneously, it would still be really good for families with a few kids who can wait their turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wait, kids wait their turn?
If they're trained well, yes. Good luck finding one of those.
So Nicholas says...
Good luck finding a parent that knows how to raise their kid correctly.
So in the chat, Nicholas has said that they did a Zelda and a Pokemon version. I don't remember the Zelda version. I vaguely remember the Pokemon version.
Yeah. And yes, I can sell Brian a PS4. I think I will have an extra.
I'll wait. I'm still buying the house, and I've got lots of crap I gotta do.
Oh, this is just totally random. I was able, if anyone's interested, I was able to pick up the iGear Vanguardian from TM.
Oh, really? Do you like it?
Yeah. Well, it hasn't arrived yet, but I won it for $41 with free shipping.
That's not bad.
So it's only twice what it's worth.
Isn't that less than it cost at the show?
Yeah, that's about $25 less than what it cost at the show.
What is that? Is that Hinch or Rager? I can't remember.
Hinch. That's the Hinch one.
So that's basically what the original retail was on that toy.
Exactly. So I've got that. Hopefully I'll be able to show that off next week.
Which is good if you actually want that thing.
Well, it's an homage to one of my favorite GoBots, so that's really something I did want to pick up. I'm hoping I can find a Roswell for the same price, but I'm doubting that one. But I got the one I wanted. Plus, I got my buffer ring came in for my DX driver. So, just a couple good things.
Good.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Don's
For a
talking
certain
about
place.
needing to cut back, and he's showing us all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm just doing basically Transformers.
Well, hey,
So I'm wearing the mask, and I feel very claustrophobic right now.
You sound claustrophobic.
I can barely breathe. It's wonderful.
sound like you're asphyxiating yourself or something.
Not
That's the
intentionally.
sound of claustrophobia.
Yeah,
It's a shame this part's probably not on camera.
it is.
Not for us.
Yeah.
It's okay. The 9s of other people watching can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not fair. We have 30 guests in the chat, so there's at least 39s of people watching.
How they
What?
just don't have actual screen names. They're just
They're not logged into the chat.
okay.
Because like
hell with
if
that.
you go to the T-Formers front page right now, it loads the video screen, it loads the chat window, and if you're not logged in, it just registers you as a guest. You can't type in chat, but you can watch the chat.
Yeah. So that
Why
Embedded.
wouldn't they want to chat with us?
Because they've watched us.
I can think of
Or
a few
maybe,
reasons.
they've been banned.
Or that.
Or also, Diecast, like I said, some people are fans, but not part of the fandom.
Or, they could be, turning it on and, walking away from your computer, just having it on as background noise while they do something else.
Yeah,
So-
we do make a lot of good background noise.
We
So-
make all the noise.
We make all the noise.
But,
So
but at least we're informative and entertaining.
we're entertaining.
Entertainive?
We're
Entertainive?
entertainative anyway.
Yeah, that.
Entertainative.
Sorry.
Add entertainative to the new word file.
Yeah,
Right
sorry.
after angriness.
Sorry, inventory was yesterday, and it was a long process leading up to that.
We inventoried everything.
No, Regis
So how
did.
many are there, Don?
So lately I've been blowing my money on
Yeah?
the Chrome Garbage Pail Kid series. I love these. They're shiny. They're really shiny. Here's a refractor. Man, I'm so poor.
Ryan doesn't have a problem.
I was going through stuff to sell, and I found the Marvel Masterpiece trading card.
Oh my god! I've got a case of those somewhere.
Wow.
You know the ones that Hildebrandt Brothers did.
Yes.
They're awesome cards. I remember buying them.
Yeah, I remember buying them too 20 years ago. Those came out 1992. 93, that time period.
But they are some gorgeous artwork on the cards. Oh, hey, that's something that maybe we can discuss at a later date. I mentioned this to Paladin. Have y'all seen a decline in the card designs for all the toys we collect? I mean, do y'all miss the days in which it was a lot more like Visionaries? I mean, if y'all seen carded Visionaries, to me, it was painted. It was just a work of art in and of itself, versus a lot of the generic stuff that we get nowadays. Maybe that's something we could just.
The packaging that always was really striking to me was Exo Squads, because everything came in little boxes.
Oh yeah.
So there was full surface painted scenes for box art on the front.
Yeah.
I guess
Those
it's
are
just
really-
yet another cost-cutting matter nowadays.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the Power Rangers vehicles are getting the painted style box art still.
And they've said at BotCon how packaging costs can be as much as 20 to 30% of the total cost of the figure. It's just I've seen a lot of stuff. The box art has gotten so bland in some cases, you miss looking for it because it just blends in with everything else. And I didn't know if that's something we may want to discuss at a later date. Is would you pay more for a better packaging,
No.
or I'm not.
Now, what I would, if a couple of dollars made the difference between, Hoist being this size or Hoist being the size of Reveal the Shield Jazz, I'd put a couple extra bucks in for that.
Yeah, I agree.
So are you asking for a new size price point?
Or just for the existing one to be more expensive.
Well, now we lost the mega size class right after Beast Machines.
Yes.
After Robots in Disguise.
Oh, was it Robots in
What
Disguise?
what was Mega in Robots in Disguise?
Mega Ball
Mega?
Megatron?
Oh.
That was a
what
deluxe.
toys? No, the Mega Toys and Robots in Disguise, they sold
2 packs?
Skybite.
And the 3
the
Predacons were
Predacon-
sold in one box.
Yeah.
and the
those
trains.
3 Viacon repaints.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there's,
I mean-
but there's no how many so Skybite was a transmetal to whatever it was, Shark to
Cyber Shark.
so that wasn't an original toy. So there wasn't like an original Mega Class figure.
Well, the trains, if you're going to count them.
Yeah, well, that's kind of
What
weird.
size were
because-
they? I don't remember.
No, they were
They were-
mega at a mega price point.
Well, the trains were between deluxe and mega cost, so they had to go into mega.
Yeah.
Were they sold in boxes for some reason?
Yeah.
I for some reson I would think they were on cards, but I know they weren't.
No.
No, they weren't.
Well, do y'all think if Hasbro went back to the mega size class with that less than Voyagers but more than Deluxes, say around 17 to 18, do you think that would help us get some of these bigger figures that need to be bigger, like Trailbreaker needs to be bigger than Jazz?
I think it would just screw.
They wouldn't
It all
sell,
just
though,
comes
because
down to the cost, really.
I think it would just damage their retail partnerships because
being $2 less than a Voyager that's noticeably a bigger toy, they're not going to sell well at that rate. I think that's probably part of why, they've worked and finagled as much as they have to get the deluxes to be able to be back down to 13 instead of $15 to $17.
I've always just, I just thought maybe if we looked at changing the size classes up, would that help keeping it fresh and getting some new figures in the proper sizes, like getting a mega IDW Megatron versus a deluxe.
define proper size.
It's an interesting idea, but so far Hasbro just seems to be all about the smaller stuff, like the Legends and Cyberverse.
Yeah.
For
And
30 years, proper size hasn't existed.
I mean, you can rename the price points all you want to, but the price points kind of are what they are because there needs to be that gulf between them to justify each one's existence. That's why we don't have scouts anymore.
That's why
As
we're
long
not.
as
That's
you
why
put
it's
the
not.
right quality into each mold to best represent the character in question, then I don't think size matters that much.
Yeah, and it's not Japan. I mean, like anything doesn't go.
Okay.
It's
It's just a thought I had,
I still think it still hurt Hasbro when, as the figures were getting smaller, the price was going up. And it kind of, now it balanced out, the prices came back down, and the figures are smaller. But for a while there, things were really out of whack.
Yeah, they were.
And it didn't do the Prime line any good, and it didn't do the figures any good, or the collectors any good.
One of the most, clear, distinct memories I have of the Hasbro cases at BotCon that year was, there was, Prime Hotshot and stuff from that and a little bit earlier. All their little tags said $12.99. Then there was Arachnid sitting next to them, $14.99. And, they were sitting physically next to each other. You could see the difference between that toy and one of the previous ones. This was $3 more for no apparent reason.
Especially with Arachnid.
That's what I'm saying.
I never saw it at retail.
Well, now at the time,
I'm not saddened.
Was she still one? Was she still one per case at the time? And being the female character, I mean, could have been marked up for that reason.
No, because these were Hasbro's SRP tags
Oh, okay.
in the Hasbro case at BotCon.
I got you.
Arachnid and everything from that on was marked at 15, whereas the earlier stuff that was on display next to it was still marked at $12.99.
I'm just wondering. I probably should ask this at BotCon. Why did Arachnid wind up sucking as bad as she did? What? no, I'm serious. I'm just wondering if maybe, and I've mentioned this to Paladin before, if they look at a case assortment that's being shipped together, and they have to cut corners on one to balance out against the other, do you think she was the one they scaled back because it was the girl figure?
I think Arachnid had to suffer for some reason.
Yeah, I think, Don, you're
I'm
right.
also pretty sure it wasn't a good reason.
It's like some sort of Greek tragedy. I mean, just for some reason she had to suffer.
That was probably one of the most complex figures in Transformers Prime, the show, as far as the transformation and everything that she had with all the legs and the turning into the wings. So yeah, I think she was probably the most difficult figure, and they figured we're never going to be able to do this right anyway, so let's just save money on this figure wherever we can.
They could really save money just by releasing like Beast Machine's Black Arachnia and not even trying to explain it and just calling it Arachnid.
Yeah, but she's too big then.
That's true. Of course, they could have probably simplified it by like fusing some of the joints together in the mold.
I wish I could remember the case assortments better to remember if Arachnid shipped in more than one assortment.
I never saw. Oh, I don't.
Well, I think she did XV because
Never saw it once.
I remember seeing her in the Hot Shot wave because my Target had nothing. I went back a few days later and they had Hot Shot, Arachnid, and then I think she also showed up in the wave with Cup. So I remember seeing different figures on the time, but she was the constant between the waves.
What I'm trying to work out here is, like, the reason we keep getting Fall Cybertron, Optimus, Jazz, and Shockwave with, you know, the Combaticons and then the Wreckers again, is because the figures are all budgeted per assortment.
Mm-hmm.
So to have those 5 figures, you have to have these other 3 figures that will balance the cost out.
Right.
You know, if Arachnid was a figure that was purposely made lesser than the other ones as a cost balancing thing, and then she only ships in one case, that kind of supports that idea.
But here's the weird thing: you show up at a store like Ollie's, and they showed up at Ollie's is a discount chain like Big Lots, just
but way more awesome.
Yeah, they were $4 or $5.99 at Ollie's for deluxes.
Yeah, because nobody could sell them.
Right, but I mean, you know, I literally saw 9 or 10 arachnids, so they must have bought cases of just arachnids from their wholesaler.
So when does Hasbro say we have to spend money to make money? Let's make these figures a little bit better, and maybe they won't end up in Ross and Ollie's, at least not in the quantities that they did with Prime.
I mean, there's only so much they can do. You know, they have to keep a certain margin. They can't just say we're going to spend more money on this because it's supposed to sell for the same price. They sell the same cost to produce it and send it to the distribution centers and the stores.
Yeah, but they're obviously
knows
Ross is paying a lot less.
But Ross is buying them from the stores. They're not buying them directly from Hasbro necessarily.
Yeah. Walmart is dumping stock to them, or Target is. Like last year, Target had a lot. Ross had a lot of the Target movie pieces that Target did not purchase. So, but now did they buy them from Hasbro or did they buy them from Target, who either had the stock already on hand but didn't want to send it to the stores?
Okay, now think about over the years all of the Transformers exclusives Toys R Us has had, which tend to lay around for a long time without selling. You don't ever see those in a Ross or a Marshalls because Toys R Us doesn't sell that stuff off to discount chains.
No.
They just put it on clearance and never
They
clearance
let it rot.
Right. You know, all that stuff is coming from the stores that have excessive quantity of it in their distribution system. The distribution systems get together and dump that stuff off into the closeout retailers.
It's also possible that they do get it from Hasbro or whoever if they have some sort of RTM agreement where they ship the unsold product back.
And for things that never come out at normal retail in the U.S. but turn up at Marshalls, like some of the G.I. Joe vehicles a couple of years ago,
yeah,
that's very likely to be the case.
Yeah.
You know, they make a deal with Hasbro on the side to directly get the stuff that they cannot get out anywhere else through another channel.
That's why you have so many tail-end pieces at the end of the line showing up, because, you know, well, that's why so much of the Generation stuff and Reveal the Shield wound up there too.
Of course, all that stuff I also saw at regular stores, so it wasn't
Yeah.
like a distribution problem. It was just slow moving, I guess.
Right. But I mean, like Junk Heap, and I mean,
Yeah.
those. It wasn't as common to find. You could find a Junk Heap on the shelf, but after that wave first shipped and all the movie stuff started coming in, the only place to find Junk Heaps was at the discount stores.
And boy, did
Or
I.
Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still there.
Well, yeah, Toys R Us was running $17.99 at the time, I think, for deluxes.
In some areas, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Because
$17.99.
that's, Toys R Us's policy. They, in an area where the manager thinks they can support it, they can up the price on collector items.
Yeah.
We'll explain why they raised the price on Ultimate Optimus.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's like,
It explains why they sell, Marvel Legends figures for $23.
Jeez.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this was one heck of a post show. I'm actually probably, since the post show is usually our best stuff, I'm thinking about actually making the post show available on YouTube, like right after the show. In fact, I'm going to do that right now.
Okay, that's scary.